Okay. Right now, this is quite limiting. We can only actually have one question using this because we have, if it's false, do one thing, or true, then we do the other. This does not allow us to have multiple values compared at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another checkbox. We will line it up with the previous one, and we'll once again remove the text and make the name question box 2. And the label did not delete properly. There we go. And now we're going to create another label. And this one is going to say, does OOP stand for Object Oriented Programming? And we need to have the question number as well. Okay, so now we've got that all nicely lined up, and we have 2 checkboxes in our form. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these labels good names as well. So it's going to be question label 1 and question label 2. At this point, we now have options as to how we want to determine whether the output is correct. Now the first one I'm going to look at means an extension of our initial if statement. In a single if statement, we can actually check for 2 things at once or more. And the way we can do that are by using the keywords and, or. So we have question 1 should be false, and question 2 should be true, because OOP does indeed stand for Object-Oriented Programming. So on this line here, if question box 1.checked equals false, before we put the then, we type and then we're going to say question box 2.checked equals true. So now we're asking for 2 things in the same if statement. We are asking if question box 1.checked is false and question box 2.checked is true, then we do this line here. Otherwise, we put this, you got the wrong answer. So what do we think this is doing? Well, essentially what is happening is we are checking for 2 conditions at once. So we are asking for one thing to be true. So we are asking for both this first condition and this second condition, which is why we use and. We are asking for both of these conditions to be met before we can go to this line of code here. Otherwise, we go to our else statement again, which covers anything else, any other possible outcome, and goes here. So if question box 1.checked was true, and the second one was also true, that would not allow us to go to here. So if either of these conditions did not get met, so if, for example, if question box 1.checked was true, then we would skip this line of code here and go to our else statement. Because only if both of our conditions are met would we go to this one. So let's see that in practice. So we ask, do Boolean variables store numerical data? They do not. Does OOP stand for Object-Oriented Programming? Yes, it does. Well done, you got the correct answer. Let's try these the other way round. You got the wrong answer. Let's try both of them true. You got the wrong answer. Let's try both of them false. You got the wrong answer. So that is the only possible setup which will allow us to get the correct answer. Everything else will take us to our else statement, telling us we got the wrong answer. Therefore, we have now allowed for 2 questions within our code to be handled. What do you think would happen if I changed that to be or instead of and? Would it still work? Would it still be correct? Well, the answer is no. Because what happens in this case is we only require one of these conditions to be met in order to go to this line here, not all of them. So if we have question box 1.checked being true, it will look for the next thing here, the next condition, and then see if that one is met. So if we make them both true, it will say you got the correct answer. It is only if neither are met would it give us the wrong answer. So in this case we want to use AND. So let's change that back to AND, which makes it work again.